Fornhan.Ponsan, and roll now and become part of the story. Alright, the Johan aopon is coming up. Let's go through the survival tricks you will need to know. On this tournament, the members of other races visit our school for 1 week before the event, so we'll need to know how to deal with them. While the name Johan aopon stands for the 7 magic schools, is that not for today. There are annual and 4-yearly Johan aopon, and the annual ones are nothing more than a meeting between humans and magic societies. The origin of the Johan aopon is a show of arms between humans, but after the witch hunts did mages cut themselves off from the other humans, and then as a result of World War I and humans doing their best to cause as much harm to as many life forms as possible, did we adopt the policy of having these annual Johan aopon. Magic societies became a part of them a while before then, but with the World War happening, was there an urgent need to be in contact with magic societies. The Johan aopon before that were held at a special occasion that was seen as outside the range of any magic school, whereas then any school would send in their envoys. But the annual ones are held at the schools, with each school having the freedom to do them as they want to. All of this was to serve for the purpose of having magic societies not rally against humans and take part in the fighting. At first was it only the major powers of the magic world, but over time did others join. The ways why and how any one particular race joined or didn't join at any one time is due to many factors. The first to join did we pretty much bully into doing it, but after that did we not actively seek out others to join in, so they had to come at us. There are generally friendly magic societies that simply did it out of wanting to do it. Then there are those that joined out of necessity, to not fall behind. Those who simply joined for the sake of it, as they did not have strong feelings either way. Those that joined out of spite to keep an eye on humans. And finally those who have personal reasons to do so. Finally are there also those who still have not taken part once. Mostly are those antagonistic to human standing magic societies. But there are one handful of magic societies with not joining out of some other reason, and the Beast City as one of 2 places on Earth that is completely removed from human influence, so they see no reason to take part in, but they are a nightmare to deal with in many ways as a strictly spoken non-antagonistic sovereign country that is ignoring any rules set by anyone else. But even with so many having joined in some cases for almost 200 years, can we not expect them to just accept any and all our doings, and need to put in some effort to follow their customs as well. For this are there magic societies that are more likely to take part than others, the main ones being werewolf, vampire, fatoman, or rokurokubi, or dullahan, but only one of them as they are not in the best blood, Tsukumogami or Poltergeister, and Yetis, at least for this part of the world. Yetis really are the outlier here, having to travel over the ocean to get to this half of the world. But then are they some of the most friendly magic societies out there, and want to have contact with humans, so it makes sense that they would also come to more than the 2 magic schools on their continent. Vampires and werewolves are from here, so you probably think you know them best, but I can't know what of that is true and what is altered by legends. Werewolves are often represented as humans that turned half wolf in moonlight. That is complete bollocks. There are the most human-like magies, so it makes sense that this stereotype would come up. They are extremely different from most magies in how they act and live, often seen as the humans of the world if humans didn't exist. They never try to live as humans, nor do they live like how other magic societies would do. They also have the language that is furthest evolved away from Magic, out of all magies. For them, Magic is effectively the same as it is to us, as only very few words could you even see where they come from in Magic. Olohim is clearly based on Olon, but there aren't many words that retain this much of their root. If we would have given them space to spread further than one small region of the world, would they surely also have developed multiple strongly differing languages just as we did. This means they are as distant to other magic societies as they are to us. They are living in a monarchical-like system, but also have democracy elements. What you need to know is that power to them means everything. Physical power for certain is a form of power, and is simple to understand one at that, but it is by no means the only thing they evaluate. Even just something as simple as battle awareness will get you further than raw strength. Political influence, knowledge, a powerful aura, or just whatever form is a form of power in a given situation is what gets respected. You don't need to be able to beat a werewolf in a fight, if you know the guy who will. It's actually quite impressive how much they order themselves after this. They would also never touch someone weaker that isn't up to fighting them. On the other hand, if you are challenging them in an aspect that they see themselves equal or superior, you better back that up with results, as they will show no mercy to those who overstep the line. They have nothing in society that speaks against killing others, especially of other races, so they will kill you without a second thought if you piss them off enough. Usually there is one warning shot, and by God, do not take this as a sign of weakness. It's their strength to not give into senseless slaughtering. As someone who can't control their emotions to that strong of a degree is weak. Even if the teachers will try to prevent these things from escalating that far, can we not personally monitor every student and human laws do not apply to them? It is just an enormous mess when stuff like that happens. Vampires will be another race you will for certain have heard a lot about, and also as most of that for almost certain a completely twisted truth. Even the original myths have been warped into complete obscurity these days, all thanks to the big screen. They are seen as a lord living in this castle and mind-controlling the villagers of his land and turning them into familiar vampires or ghouls. In reality, are they from the very start a human-friendly species who only protected their regions and those living there, not caring of what race they are. And this is a perfect symbiosis between humans and vampires. The humans got protected from bandits or magies, where the vampires could get blood in terms without having to hunt and potentially endanger themselves. All of this got turned around by those people who went there for nefarious purposes. These humans would indeed see the vampires as a monster that had ensnared the humans with some kind of magic that they do possess, to be fair, and had to hunt them down. During the witch hunt time did humans then also hunt down vampires, who are in nature pacifists. That pacifism was most likely what got them into this point, as they did not kill many intruders, and so could rumors spread. Eventually did they retreat into isolation, and are neither friendly, antagonistic, or neutral towards humans. There simply isn't any relationship of any kind in large. They use the johan or aopon to keep in touch with the world, and to learn how to interact with other races, as they don't do that much outside. All this isolation means that they can easily get aggressive if you get into their personal space, but this is not some form of hatred, but mostly confusion at play here. They simply do not know what to do and are also not used to interacting with others. Now, Fateoman and Rokurokubi are just two names for the same thing, but while they may look identical these days, are Dullahans a clearly distinct race. We will be having Fateoman. Rokurokubi is theoretically an okay name, but just use Fateoman, as that's how they are called in their home. With the world these days being connected as is this confusion of Dullahan and Fateoman, and all the magies that look the same but are not the same, gotten to be a big thing. Back when computers, and even before when the printing press didn't exist, did this to them see as nothing more than a language difference. After all, Fateoman and Rokurokubi are the same, and just a short boat ride apart, yet people had two names. So when travelers from other parts of the globe came there and called them Dullahan, was this not strange to them? But it is extremely easy to figure out what a Dullahan and what a Fateoman is these days, so they know that you are doing the equivalent of calling a human a monkey. But Phaeton are really simple to deal with, as they live completely integrated with human society. Their magic can make the head fly around freely, but if they hide their lack of neck with a scarf or similar and rest the head on their body, would you not be able to see any difference between a human and them? As they live as humans, do they also speak whatever language is spoken by humans where they live, with not all even getting taught Magic. They can't grow up like they are humans, as humans would not be all too happy if they knew that Magists are just freely running around with them, even not being able to know who it is. But to Phaeton is being a Magist even sometimes seen as a negative. They have an extremely low pride in their origins due to their ways of living, so you should treat them as if they are just a regular exchange student. Tsukumogami are also known as Poltergeister in other places, and are similar to the Seers, but they lack the magic strength to exist as pure holocron beings. They are in all terms a possessed object with a personality heavily revolving around what they possess. As far as we understand, do all things have an holocron, but yada yada, humans can't perceive holocron, yada yada, it's actually kon gomihan for objects. The important part here is that the character is altered not only by what, but also by how that thing existed up to that point. A Tsukumogami possessing a rock in the forest is nothing more than a feral animal. In the end, amounts all of this to nothing more than trying to figure out any other person. Even if you would know what they possess, could you have no chance of knowing how that thing was treated and how those things mix into a character. Also, never ask them about what they possess. This is pretty much the same as asking them to strip naked for you, a complete stranger. That's the best analogy to go by, not going too much into the nitty-gritty on how they truly think about this. While their body can shapeshift, is that only in the bounds of what they are. If they look human, that's because they possess something human. And they will never look like any other race. And they also will think like a human. With humans being in overabundance in every speck of this planet, is a human Tsukumogami the most likely case, which makes it quite easy to deal with them. But also keep in mind that they are holocron beings. And as such, with that have a fundamental worldview difference that splits holocron and holohan beings, just with the added bonus that they will have perfect understanding of our side as they have the memories of an holohan being. If they possess something used by an holohan being, it's still going to be hard for them, however, to completely filter out the holocron part. Lastly, Yetis, and they are also known as Bigfoot depending on where they live, too large, too friendly, and too strong. Pretty much the opposite of Yuki-Onas, our other big snow mountain dwellers. If you get lost in a mountain and a Yeti finds you, will they be more than happy to help you, just that the help they offer will do more harm than good. They are on the lower end of intelligence, how humans define it. They are not really stupid and more on the end of oblivious. They simply don't put any thoughts in the fact that other races equals other needs. Just like Oni is the one rule you should follow with Yetis, to never accept anything they give you, as it has a good chance of being lethal to us. The real issue is their temper being sort of childish. If you actively refuse them, will they get angry at you, as they do not put much thought into why you would do that if they are so friendly and give you something. They will only speak low-level Magic, but they are geniuses at communication. They are gifted at understanding body language and use Magic in ways that even someone who never heard before of it would be able to grasp some things in longer conversations. The general tip is to play oblivious to what they say to you, as that way, instead of getting angry, will they simply get bored quickly. This is a great tip, if not for them being so social. They will pick up if you react to their words with more than confusion, meaning the better you understand Magic, the harder you have to try to listen away and don't think about what they say if you don't want to be trapped in a hell of hospitality. The best tip I can give you is to make a big circle around them, not look at them and just try to prevent interaction. In terms of where the Magis will be living during that week, that is at the edge of the forest that you are supposed to not enter. With the exception of the off-class, will that entire area also be taboo during the stay of the Magis. They will be living in the building that is at the border of the forest, and that alone will be enough to deal with. We can't have you running around there as well and also cause problems. This world is made by you. Comment on what should be part of it, or maybe there's already a class for that. I also have to wonder what the off-class might be up to right now.